Throughout history, the downfall of men has rarely come from their enemies. It comes from their own mouths, their restless minds, their unstable moods, and their careless hands when handling money. Machiavelli understood this truth long before the modern world began to glorify emotional expression and verbal excess. That he wrote, in essence, that power belongs not to the loud, but to the measured, not to the one who reacts, but to the one who calculates. That a man who cannot control his mouth becomes a servant of his own tongue. Words are like arrows. You cannot pull them back once they are released. Every careless word builds a trail that others will follow back to your weakness. Machiavelli would say, "He who speaks too much teaches his enemies how to defeat him." In politics, in business, in love, silence is a weapon that it confuses, it intimidates, it commands respect. When you speak, let every word be deliberate, precise, and profitable. The tongue is the gatekeeper of your reputation, and once that gate collapses, no army can defend you from ruin. Control your mouth, and you will control the narrative others build about you. But control your mind, and you will command the world within you. Machiavelli knew the battlefield begins in the mind, that he understood that. Most people are not destroyed by external forces, but by the inner storms of confusion, doubt, and obsession. To govern your mind is to practice the art of detachment. Not let your thoughts run wild like an undisciplined army. Direct them, sharpen them, and teach them obedience. Most people live as slaves to mental noise. They cannot sit in silence for 5 minutes without drowning in anxiety. A Machiavellian mind, however, is silent but strategic. IT studies others while appearing calm. That IT thinks 3 steps ahead while everyone else reacts to the present. That is how you become untouchable, not through violence or wealth, but through inner command. Then there is the matter of your mood. The mood of a man is the weather of his soul. Those who cannot master their mood are forever controlled by others who can. Machiavelli wrote that a leader must appear composed even in the face of chaos. Because if your enemies can read your emotions, they can read your next move. Your anger gives away your fear. Your sadness reveals your weakness. Your joy exposes your desires. To control your mood is not to suppress emotion. It is to rule emotion. You must stand above it, not beneath it. When provoked, appear unbothered. When insulted, remain silent. When praised, remain cautious. Because emotions are tools. If you don't use them, they will use you. A calm man in a storm becomes a symbol of power. People will fear you, not for your words, but for your composure. And finally, money. Machiavelli believed that fortune, like power, is loyal only to those who treat it with discipline. Most men are not poor because they lack opportunity. They are poor because they lack control. They chase luxury to fill the void of self-respect. They spend to be seen rather than to build. Money, in the hands of the impulsive, is destruction. But in the hands of a strategic, it becomes freedom. Do not let your emotions dictate your spending. Use your money to buy time, to buy influence, to buy independence. Machiavelli's prince did not waste gold on pleasure. He used it to maintain loyalty, power, and stability. In the same way, the modern man must see money not as comfort, but as control. Save in silence. Invest with reason. Let your wealth grow unseen, and your power will rise unheard. Because those who control their mouth, their mind, their mood, and their money control everything. They become unpredictable, unshakable, unstoppable. Machiavelli would remind us, a man who masters himself is more dangerous than 1,000 soldiers. That he cannot be manipulated by flattery, fear, or temptation. He is immune to chaos because he commands himself. While others chase pleasure, he chases power. While others react, he observes. While others fall apart, he remains intact. You must learn to become this to speak with precision, to think with strategy, to feel with restraint, and to spend with calculation. This is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming efficient. It's about transforming your inner chaos into order. Because the world respects not the loud or the kind. It respects the disciplined. And the most disciplined form of power is self-controlled. Remember this. Your mouth can destroy your reputation. Your mind can sabotage your peace. Your mood can ruin your decisions. And your money can enslave you if you don't rule it. But if you master all four, you no longer belong to this world. You rise above it. You become the architect of your destiny, not its victim. That is the essence of Machiavellian wisdom. To conquer the world, conquer yourself first. Most men lose control not because the world defeats them, but because they defeat themselves long before the world even tries. They crumble under the weight of their own impulses, words, and fears. Machiavelli understood that the greatest empire you will ever rule is yourself, because no man can govern others until he has learned to govern his own nature. Control your mouth, for your voice can either crown you or condemn you. The tongue is the most dangerous weapon ever forged. It can build kingdoms, and it can burn them to ashes in a moment. The weak man speaks to seek validation. The strong man speaks only to direct power. You must learn the art of strategic silence. When you speak too soon, you reveal your thoughts. When you speak too much, you reveal your fears. And when you speak carelessly, you create enemies without realizing it. Machiavelli would tell you, let others reveal their minds first. Only then, decide which words are worth your breath. In silence, you control information. In control of information, you control perception. And in perception, you control the world. But the mind is the true battlefield of the modern prince. That it is where wars of will, doubt, and desire are fought daily. The undisciplined mind seeks pleasure before progress, comfort before conquest. But Machiavelli's wisdom teaches that the mind must be ruled like a kingdom, with law, with order, and with fear of chaos. Train your thoughts as a ruler trains his soldiers. That not let every distraction, every fear, every passing idea take your focus away from what truly matters. That a Machiavellian mind is one that bends emotion to reason, and reason to ambition. That it is a mind that studies patterns, anticipates betrayal, and refuses to be shaken by the noise of the crowd. Such a mind does not break under pressure. It calculates under pressure. And that is the difference between those who rise to power and those who serve it. Now, your mood. It is the compass of your decisions. Machiavelli warned that rulers who act in anger destroy themselves. If your emotions command you, your enemies need not attack you. You will do their work for them. The one who angers you conquers you. Therefore, guard your inner climate with the same vigilance a prince guards his fortress. Never allow external chaos to create internal storms. When insulted, smile. When provoked, study. When defeated, remain composed. Because self-control disarms your opponent more than any display of power. Imagine the strength it takes to stay calm while others lose their minds. This is what true authority looks like. You must become unshakable. Not because life is easy, but because nothing can make you flinch. Your calmness will make others uneasy. Your stillness will expose their instability. And your restraint will become the loudest form of dominance. And then there is money, the silent test of every man's discipline. Machiavelli understood that wealth is never about greed. It is about leverage. He warned rulers to use money as a shield, not as a toy. Most people become slaves to their desires the moment they touch gold. They begin to live for display, not for strategy. But a Machiavellian man uses money as an extension of his will. That he saves not to hoard, but to strike when others are weak. That he invests not to show power, but to secure it. He lives below his means to ensure no man owns him. Remember this, financial freedom is not about riches. It's about control. Control over your time, your choices, your direction. That a man who cannot say no to temptation will forever say yes to regret. You must learn to spend like a tactician, not like a peasant drunk on illusion. Let your wealth whisper, not scream, because power grows best in silence. Machiavelli would remind you, these four pillars are not separate, but one structure. Your mouth is the voice of your mind. Your mind dictates your mood. Your mood influences your relationship with money, and your money, in turn, defines how the world treats you. When one collapses, all followed it. Build yourself as you would build an empire. Brick by brick, thought by thought, Discipline by discipline, in a world that celebrates emotion over logic, you must become the exception. You must become deliberate in a sea of impulsive men. You must learn the discipline of silence in a culture that glorifies noise. You must choose reason when others choose. Reaction, this is not cruelty. It is mastery. Because every time you refuse to react, you steal power from those who wanted to control you. Every time you think before you speak, you move closer to command. Every time you save instead of spend, you plant the seeds of independence. Every time you calm your anger, you strengthen your rule over yourself. And when you finally rule yourself completely, you will discover something Machiavelli knew all along, that the world bends to those who bend themselves first, those who cannot. Control their mouths, their minds, their moods, or their money will forever serve those who can. They will live reacting instead of creating, obeying instead of leading, surviving instead of ruling. But the man who masters these four, he speaks rarely, but his words echo, that he thinks deeply but appears calm, that he feels everything yet reveals nothing, that he owns money. But money never owns him, that he walks among men as if carved from iron. His presence heavy with silence and certainty has, oh, control your mouth, speak, only to direct, control your mind, think only to conquer, control your mood, feel only to understand, control your money, spend only to strengthen. For when you master these, you no longer live by chance, you live by design. This is the essence of Machiavellian discipline, to be your own ruler before daring to rule others. Command yourself with the same authority kings command armies. Become not a servant of emotion, but a strategist of life. Because in the end, every man must choose to be ruled by the chaos within or to become the calm that commands it. And only the second path leads to true power.